There are words that resonate through the centuries, that defy time and space, words that seem simple but that contain a profound meaning hidden from the eyes of those who cannot see. Among these, few are as powerful as those uttered by Jesus on the cross. I thirst. But what did he really mean? Was it just a simple request, a sign of his human pain? Or was there a much greater mystery, a secret message for all humanity? If you too feel the need to understand, if you are thirsty for truth and want to discover the true meaning of those words, then stay with us. This story could change forever the way you see the faith and sacrifice of Christ. Imagine yourself on Golgotha, the place of the skull, a barren hill just outside Jerusalem where death sentences were carried out. It is here that Jesus is crucified amid pain and suffering. Imagine being there, under that cross. The crowd around, the screams, the darkening sky, and then that voice, the voice of Jesus saying, I thirst. Is it possible that this request was just a physical need, or did it hide something much deeper? A sign? A prophecy? If you are curious to discover the truth behind these words, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us as we explore the most fascinating secrets of the Bible. Let's go back in time to that crucial moment on the cross. Before asking for a drink, Jesus was offered wine mixed with gall, a bitter substance that eased pain. But Jesus refused. Why? Perhaps he already knew that the drink was not intended for him, but that he had a very specific role to fulfill in accordance with the scriptures. In fact, if we read the Gospel of Matthew 27, 33, 34, we discover that when they arrived at Golgotha, they offered him wine to drink mixed with gall, but after he tasted it, he did not drink it. This action seems small, almost insignificant, but it carries with it profound meaning. Jesus was both fully man and fully God, and at that moment he knew every detail of his destiny and knew that every prophecy written about him must be fulfilled. Can you imagine the power of all this? Every gesture, every word, every breath of Jesus was part of a divine plan written hundreds of years before. In Psalm 69, 21, it is written, They gave me poison for food and sour wine for my thirst. And again, Psalm 22:15 speaks of a tongue stuck to the jaws, a heartbreaking image representing thirst, the extreme suffering of those who are at the point of death. But Jesus' request, I thirst, was not just a manifestation of his physical pain, but the perfect fulfillment of these prophecies. This prophecy is fulfilled in the Gospel of John 10:28. After this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, said, in order that the scripture might be fulfilled, I thirst. Here, we see how everything fits together perfectly. Jesus' thirst was not just a human need, but the sign that all the prophecies had to be fulfilled one by one, down to the last detail. Now, I would love to hear what you think. Write your thoughts in the comments. Do you think all this is just a coincidence or a perfect divine plan? Every single word spoken on the cross had a greater meaning. After saying, I thirst, Jesus received the sour wine. And immediately after, with a deep breath, he said, It is done. This moment contains enormous spiritual power. In the original Greek language, the word used is tetelestai, which means completed or paid in full. Jesus had completed his mission. He had fulfilled every prophecy, every promise of God for humanity. But how many people, even today, refuse to believe that Jesus is the Messiah, despite every single prophecy having come true? And yet, as we can see, everything had been foretold. Let us return to Psalm 22, a chapter that describes in detail the crucifixion even centuries before this form of execution existed. The passage, "They pierced my hands and my feet," is clear evidence that cannot be ignored. Yet, the Romans who mocked and crucified him did not understand who they really had before them: the Messiah, the Son of God. Don't miss the opportunity to share this truth with your friends and family. If you want to learn more about this incredible time, watch our other videos and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. The accuracy of the prophecies is astonishing. John D. Tianov, 32-34, describes how the soldiers broke the legs of the others crucified, but when they came to Jesus, seeing that he was already dead, they did not do so. Once again, a prophecy is fulfilled. "I can tell all my bones, they gaze upon me and gloat over me." Psalm 22:17. Everything happens according to a very precise plan. And then there is one last detail. Verse 18 of Psalm 22 says, "They divide my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots." And that is exactly what happened. The soldiers gambled for Jesus' garments right at the foot of the cross, unaware that they were fulfilling an ancient prophecy. But that's not all. Matthew 27:51 describes how the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, and the earth shook, and the rocks were split. Imagine the scene: an earthquake, tombs opening, and saints being resurrected. Even the Roman soldiers, who were used to seeing death every day, were forced to acknowledge, truly, this was the Son of God. Matthew 27:54. But what did Jesus' "I thirst" on the cross really mean? Many Bible scholars suggest that Jesus' words were not just a declaration of his physical suffering. He was fulfilling a prophecy, but at the same time, he was expressing a spiritual thirst for mankind, a thirst for reconciliation between God and man. When Jesus spoke these words, he was not only revealing his pain, but also his deep desire to do the work of redemption for all of us. Imagine what it must have meant for the disciples and for Mary, his mother, to witness this scene. Their despair must have been enormous, but their faith must have also sustained them in believing that all this was part of a greater plan. When the temple was torn, that curtain that separated the Holy of Holies from the rest of humanity was torn forever, opening the way for a new relationship with God. Jesus, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, will come again. The first time he came to serve and die for us, the next time he will come to rule. Are you ready to meet him? This is a time to reflect and open our hearts. For each of us, there is a choice to make between light and darkness. Jesus offers us his hand. It is up to us to grasp it.